garage. Coming along here. What is this? What is this? Is that some kind of a grounding rod or something? There's a grounding rod. They're supposed to be installed into the ground 6 feet, 8 feet, excuse me. Not 7 foot 6 inches. Not 7 foot. That should have been hammered all the way down. Now, an electrician might have been able to put an ohm meter on this and demonstrate to the code inspector that there was enough resistance, and they settled on that. But I wasn't here. I wasn't here for that. So that grounding rod has not been properly supported. And 22 years ago, when this home was built, it didn't require 2 grounding rods within 6 feet of each other. That's why I was kind of interested in what this guy was. So we've only got a single ground. Yeah, excuse me. This box should have been sealed on 3 sides. They'll prevent moisture from getting into the house. Now, if the house on the ground moves, as they will, okay, your electric supply conduit is broken loose from the box. You think water can get in there and get into your electrical system? I do. That's what I think. And the reason why that broke, and again, they weren't doing this 22 years ago, is on new construction they put a slip joint on this. And since you're thinking about redoing that, and the slip joint allows it movement here so the stress doesn't come in on this side of the box. Just a thought. We're thinkers. We're going to move on along here. Coming inside the garage north wall, this is the main electric service panel. We've got 200 amp service. Alright. Now when you have these blocks around here, okay, this design, you do not need the neoprene covers. But they say you're supposed to have neoprene covers, so it's going to make the report you do not have neoprene covers. Okay, what else have we got in here? You see how L1 and L2 come in here? They come in through this big knockout. And you'll see big knockouts around here because when it was manufactured, they didn't know where this cabinet was going. And so we can knock this out for L1 and L2 to come through here. See this big knockout here for L1 and L2? That's not L1 and L2. Look at all those wires coming through there. It's called bundling. That's what the term is. And I hate discounting my work. Alright? But even the illustration that I have baked into the inspection report is somewhat apologetic for bundling. It's so common. You don't see it in new construction. Now at this time, this stage in the game, it's probably more or less it is what it is. Is the cure worse than the fix? Is the fix worse than... Anyway, that's probably what that is. But when it comes time to replace this cabinet, you'd want to put all these in. And I would never dissuade my client from seeking perfection. If you want to do it now, I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to stop you from doing it right. So we do not have the neoprene covers. This is our main neutral coming in. See, it comes in here on this bus right in there. See that? Okay, this is supposed to be wrapped with white tape 4 times. Not 4 times in one spot, but 4 times. You're supposed to have a nice stretch of white tape on that so that any fool knows that that is the main neutral connection. If you don't know that's the main neutral connection, you don't belong in this cabinet. I get that. If you don't know these are hot, you don't belong in this cabinet. I get that. But you're supposed to have the covers, and it's supposed to be wrapped so that any fool who accidentally gets into this cabinet and shouldn't be, doesn't mess himself or things up too bad. Now these are the white hots coming in, okay, because it's a 220 circuit, 220 circuits. Okay, these should have been wrapped with black tape. And again, if you do not know that these are hot, coming in right to the circuit breaker, if you don't know those are hot, you don't belong in here. But these should have been wrapped with black tape. That's just what they should have been done. Now we know the bonding location is over on the water heater, right over there. We know that. We can see that. Any electrician can see that. But the bonding location is supposed to have been labeled inside of this cabinet. Nothing that's inside of this, one thing that's inside of this cabinet that doesn't belong here is all this debris and this paint spatter. Okay, I get it. It's been going for a while. But no, there's actually a code for that. You're not supposed to have debris and paint splatter inside of your cabinets. You're just not. Okay. So let's. We through, bud? Not a bit. We got stuff to talk about. Let's talk about. See, these are white hots, and these are white neutrals, and they go on the same bus bar with the grounds because the neutral is, in essence, a ground. It's an active ground. It continue. Anytime your light bulb comes on, current comes through that. You turn the light bulb off, and current doesn't come through this. Grounds, they're there for an emergency. And because they're there for an emergency, they're allowed to be doubled like that. Okay? But these are active currents. These are active circuits. These neutrals. They're not supposed to be doubled. See all these screws down here? They should have shared them. You got plenty of screws. Plenty of screws to do it right. Why would you want to do it right? Why would you want to waste that much time doing it right? Putting another screw and everything. These are all, that's called double lugging. And some home inspectors call it double tapping. Okay, call it what you will. There's another one over here. Double lug. You got double lug neutrals. Not supposed to have that. They heat and cool at different times, so those connections become loose. You know why I know that? It's because I had an electrician come out to my house. I said, you got to tear this wall apart. And he listened to me. I said, there's a short on this circuit. And he just listened to me. My wife is there. She's knowing I knew everything. He comes in, he sticks a screwdriver on it, and all the lights come on. I just look like a fool. Okay, you don't want to look like a fool. You don't want an electrician come out here and putting a screwdriver on that. All those should have been separated. Okay? Through yet, bud? Not no, we got more. See these gaps right here? You're not supposed to have more than 1/8 of an inch gap between the cabinet and the wall. That compromises the fire blocking. See the way this cabinet right here, you can see the wall where it comes across there? See that gap? That's the gap. If this thing melts down, why is this in a big metal cabinet? Because there's a lot of stuff going on in here. Alright, this thing melts down and it nukes on you. You got this big gap right here where it comes out through the wall. So, bud, it's construction. People installed this. They couldn't get it that tight. Well, the code was made for a reason. And I know that the kid that put the stereo in my car is a 16-year-old kid down at Hawk Electrics. I know it looks like it came from the factory. And I know that 16-year-old kid had a lot more on his mind for Friday night, what he's going to do, hanging out with his buds or maybe having a girlfriend or something. I know he was much more preoccupied than a 35-year-old electrician. It just makes sense. What's about this? Oh, those are screws. We screwed our cabinet in? Zip, zip, that's fast. Let's go to the beer store. No. Okay, screws do not have the same tension strength as nails. It's kind of the same thing that went on with your pergola. Okay, screws are faster, screws are tight, I get that. The screws break. They do not have the same shear strength that nails do. I said tensile strength, same thing I think, mostly. Shear strength is the right word though. They got the same shear strength. They don't have the same shear strength. So if this home experienced a tornado, for example, and your garage got blown up, I get it. You've already got a bad day. But this thing will pop out like a pimple. If it was nailed in, it might actually stick to a board or something, and the first responders can step over. They don't have to go through quite so much debris. They don't have this box just spinning around on the floor. That's what that's about. Okay, so it should have been nailed in. Are you through, bud? Bonding location. Yeah, I didn't say. Oh, no, not quite. Look at all this. You see what that is? It's called handwriting. Handwriting. You know what this says? It says danger. That's called printing. All right. The code and the panel manufacturer specifications, they all think that this should be printed, not handwritten, not durable. What was that? Can you read that? I can't. I can't read that either. Okay? It's supposed to be printed. Does that affect the way the breakers work? Not really. It doesn't really affect it. They're going to work anyway. Is it done right? No. When you sell the house, another home inspector going to come in and talk about it? Probably. So what do we learn? Our breakers are printed. Well, let's learn some more. AC, second 220 down here, 40 amps. 50 amps. Your air conditioning unit, according to this, your air conditioning unit, if it's labeled properly, your air conditioning unit's underfused. Your air conditioning unit can actually handle a 50 amp load. This is a 40 amp breaker. So this breaker is liable to trip on a hot day when your air conditioner is not under any load. So it's undersized. It's an undersized breaker. Now this is the irony. The air conditioner is 18 years old. If you replace the air conditioner unit, you'll get a newer one that's more efficient, and it'll probably take a smaller breaker. But this breaker is too small for the condensing unit that you have in place now, so that's wrong today. It's all wrong today. You can plan for the future. You won't have to buy a new breaker. Save the breaker. How about that? If that's the way you wanted to do it. Right here, these are your bedroom circuits. These are AFCI circuits. All right. Today, all these, except for I think the attic, all these are supposed to be AFCI protected. A lot of GFCI protection too. Like, I understand there's not a GFCI for the refrigerator over here, so the garage ceiling's not GFCI. That would be today. I do not test AFCI breakers in occupied homes. I just know that it's there. You got AFCI in the bedrooms. Today you'd have more AFCIs. GFCIs, like I said, you don't have one in the garage, so today there'd be more GFCIs. In fact, on your water heater and your furnace and your oven, where's the clothes dryer? Oh, clothes dryer. Those would all be GFCI too. Those 220s. A lot of people don't even realize today that 220 requires GFCI. So we do not have GFCI. They're not required on the condensing unit, the one that's underfused. Okay, but that would be GFCI. That would be GFCI. That would be GFCI. That would be GFCI. GFCI. What am I missing here? Hot water. AC heat. Okay, got it. Oven. All right. I don't even know. Is that the heater or is that the heater? That's 50 amps. Would that be the air conditioner? We don't know.